Hi everybody, it's Olivier Blanchard, the brand builder again. So yesterday we talked about engagement a little bit, and we really focused on followers and what followers really are and aren't. And I think we've kind of helped define the notion that a follower isn't like a little duckling that falls in line behind you and follows you around, but a follower truly is more of a promoter. Since everyone on Twitter is really a community manager, and everyone is managing their own community, building it out, designing it based on what's important to them, aligning themselves with other people and brands in terms of value direction, and all of these communities are actually intertwined with dozens, hundreds, and thousands of others in some cases. It really redefines the importance of engagement with every single person who has an interest in what you have to say. And so this is very important when it comes to brand management and social media directors working for brands, especially the ones looking for true engagement and success and traction with engagement on platforms, particularly like Twitter. And so today what I want to focus on in terms of engagement is depth and breadth. And those are kind of like the two different sides of the same coin. But for some reason, some social media directors and some brand managers feel like they have to choose between one or the other as opposed to combining the two. And that can be pretty dangerous. And I'll try to remember to give you some examples without pointing fingers or anything. So first, let's define breadth and depth. So a breadth strategy when it comes to engagement is basically breadth. It's casting as wide a net as possible, trying to reach as many possible individuals on Twitter as you possibly can. So if 100,000 people on Twitter are talking about your soft drink, your watch, your athletic shoe, your rainproof jacket, your car, you have a community of 100,000 people already established online that you want to reach out to. And what's going to happen is if you really focus on a breadth strategy, is you're going to go after each and every one of them, and then some. And the beauty of that is that you really are going to, at some point, manage to shake every single of those hands. You're going to bring them in, they're going to accept you, and you're there. So that's good in a way. The bad thing is that you're not going to have the resources to really have true engagement, a true relationship or connection with them. By virtue of the fact that you're spreading yourself so thin, your relationship with them is also going to be very thin. And the risk in that is that your presence online, your engagement strategy might come across as being kind of shallow and being about scale and numbers. And that can be bad, because then people feel disenfranchised because, they're following you, you're following them back, but you're not paying attention and you're not really talking with them, you're not having these conversations. So that's the pitfall. The other side of that is the depth strategy, and it's completely the opposite. Instead of going for numbers, you're actually going with an emotional connection. You're going with that true engagement with someone where you're having conversations with them, you're getting to know them, you're giving them a voice, you're constantly having that dialogue with them. And in its essence, you're building a friendship. The problem with it is that if you spend most of your time actually building a relationship with people, you're not going to have time to do it with everyone. So you have to focus on a very narrow segment of your fan base on Twitter. And so depth really truly becomes very narrow and very deep, which is what you want, but you don't get the benefit of the scale. And what happens there with people feeling disenfranchised is if you have 100,000 people on Twitter who want to have a relationship with you, and you're only building a relationship with, say, 500 of them or 5,000 of them, then you're leaving 95,000 or 99,500 of your best fans kind of on the lurch. You're blowing them off, in essence. And when they pick up the phone and call you, you're saying, well, I don't have time with you. I'm engaging with these guys over here. And that can be bad as well. So what's really important here, and I guess it's point number one today, is that when it comes to breadth and depth, it's not an either-or proposition. Okay, you don't have to choose between depth or breadth, where you're only looking for numbers or only looking for very specific engagement. What you have to do is really truly combine the two. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but you have to find a balance. You have to find a balance that works for you. Maybe if you have 100,000 people on Twitter who talk about your product and really like your product, you don't have to immediately try to engage with every single one of them. Over time, you should at least try to. But maybe you find the first 10,000 and the first 25,000, and just kind of progressively scale out as you learn, as your resources increase, as you're showing results with engagement, leading to impact on your business, whether it's financial or otherwise. Maybe you start getting more resources assigned to you, and you can scale a little bit better. But you want to have that depth and that breadth together in a way that makes sense, and in a way that works, and in a way that that helps you build that community and that activity and that excitement online, and especially on Twitter, for your brand, for all the people who kind of want to play with it.